Recording. Start record. Oh, we're recording.
Look at that.
Ben is recording the call.
Shooting after dark. Let's go, baby.
Hey, it was only a 3-minute delay this time. I'm going to tell this poor
3-minute delay?
Microsoft lady, thank you so much. We figured it out.
All right. Yes. Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. We're here to talk about shooting. Well, the rules are everybody brings a topic. Since we had so many technical issues even getting this thing going, you'll hear some typing. That's actually Joel. That is not me.
Telling Microsoft support to have a great day. It was Paula. She was very nice. She said, "Oh, sounds great."
Hey, it's working now, and go fuck yourself. That's normal Joel talk, isn't it?
Absolutely not. Before we enter chat, she wants me to take like some survey. Sorry, I cannot.
You're actually going to politely decline the survey.
Yes. Have a great day. She was super nice. She was.
When it gets like that, I'm just hanging up the phone. It's like game over.
Well, I'll be real. She didn't really help at all, but she was trying to help, so that was nice.
No, its attitude really determines a lot of these things. All right, before we get into the show stuff, well, it is nearing this whole Thanksgiving Black Friday thing. So I want to let you guys know what you can get at the Pro Shop. That is bensteigerproshop.com. Typically, there's a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale deal. And I know what you're thinking. You guys want your grip tape. You guys want your dry fire targets.
Paster guns.
Well, why would the grip tape be something I would want to sell?
Because it makes Tim's life terrible.
Absolutely ruin his life.
It takes him a long time to cut it. Yeah.
So let me just talk through the deals. Free flip tray with purchase of hundo. Does not apply to blemmed gauges, but free flip tray. That's cool. Yep. It's interesting. 15% off Pro Grip and Liquid Grip. Okay. 20% off lock grips.
Now we're talking. Let's go.
Any grip tape, your choice, $1. 18% off 2 or more MBX PCC base pads. $70 off double alpha Mr. Bullet feeders. $40 off Safariland backpacks. I think those are pretty nice. And 50% off special dry fire target kit. One of the deals I mentioned is completely fabricated, by the way, and I'll just let you guys see if you can figure out which one that is. No takers.
Nope.
Really? I really did fabricate one of those.
Really?
Yeah. So the $1 grip tape. That's what I was really pushing for.
Okay.
Grip tape is literally the worst. As far as Tim's life. But anyway, that's what's going on at the Pro Shop on Training Group. Mr. Kim.
Yes.
Do we have any cool shit going on?
Yes. The Nationals walkthrough video was just on.
I've got Zone 1 I just put out as we record this. So Zone 2 and 3 are coming. I've got a Skills and Drills class video dump coming. And we'll have an interview with Tyler Turner, predominantly about his first time on the Super Squad. That should be interesting as well.
Yeah, one of the new video dropped from my physical therapist. It's a forearm recovery because forearms get really tight after shooting some good recoil management stuff. And if you grip hard, yes, you should. You're gonna have some forearm tiredness, maybe in between matches or in between practices. So the physical therapist did really good job. We got good feedback. It's been only a week since it's dropped, but people are loving it. This morning I did another video session with the therapist. It's about the shoulder recovery. Your shoulders get really tight if you do a lot of target transitions and stuff. But that's going to be another really good video.
So that's what's coming to Training Group. Lots of content sitting on there. Do you even know how many videos are on there now, Joel? Can't even keep track, can you?
Plus the reviews, obviously hundreds, but I don't know.
Hundreds. Yeah, I don't know either. So we have new people coming on all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I should have joined this sooner." Blah blah blah. And yeah, you probably should have. But it's been a year, and it's like a stable, thing, and looks to continue. So pretty happy with that. Okay,
let me give one little Training Group spiel.
Yes.
If you are it's a good time during the off season, like to be researching. Maybe you want to change your grip or you want to make a change, something like that. if you decide you want to join training group, like when you're starting to live fire, so you decide like, hey, March, I'm going to start training, I'll join training group. You are not going to get through all of it right away. It will, like, if you were thinking about waiting through all that, if you are not a member, the winter would be a good time because you could, Ben, I don't know how many hours on that. You could watch 8 hours a day for weeks and not see everything. And no exaggeration.
All I know is every day we're doing reviews, either in the silver section that everybody sees or in the gold section that nobody sees. And every week we're putting up a video. And sometimes I might put up an hour video one week. So like, boom, there's an hour. I might put up like this week's video, I think was 25 minutes, something like that. There you go, 25 minutes. So it takes people a while to get through it because it's like week in, week out. More stuff keeps coming. Yeah. Kim's posting his stuff. There's tons of shit in there.
So yeah, if you're thinking about like during the off season, I want to research, grip or stance or fundamentals or something you want to change, the off season would be a good time to go through that because there is, like, depending on your free time, there's more content there than you probably have time for.
You are not wrong. Okay, no. So that's the business stuff. Let's get into the topics. Joel, you had a topic that you think we should talk about that's sort of tangentially related to nationals somehow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's related to a stage at nationals, but I think it could relate to, matches everywhere. Yeah. And it would be basically what's the fair way to describe it? Maybe a chaotic stage to maybe an untrained eye?
A stage where you can't predict necessarily before you shoot it how things are going to happen. So this would be where you're activating a moving target in a position prior to where you see it. So you can't really predict its position. That would be the normal one. Maybe there's some prop or something that's acting unpredictably. So think about like a shaky bridge, something like that. So things that are very difficult to predict how they're going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to give some, so we're talking about specifically what made me think of this was there was a stage at nationals where there were two different activators, and depending on which order you chose to do them, there'd be 3 bobbing targets that would be going up and down. And depending on your sequence for activating them, they might be at different spots. They might all be going at the same time. They might be maybe the left one's first and the right one's first. Like, who knows? So, that stage, I looked at it, and I'm seeing other people shooting it. And, of course, I'm not able to walk the stage yet. And Ben had shot it the day before. So it's like, hey, what do I do here? Like, I understand what's going to happen.
Yes.
But it's like, what should I be doing?
What should I do? I'm like,
hey, need my phone a friend.
It's a fast, crazy plan. And then there's the plan I'm going to tell you to do. And you're like, good, just tell me that one. I don't even want to hear the other one.
That's exactly what I said. No, you said, do you want to hear how I did it or how I think you should do it? I said, I don't care how you did it right now. Just tell me how to shoot it.
Yes.
So, and basically Ben gave me a plan where it's like, hey, you shoot this, whatever happens, this is your plan. The plan was, you activate them, you shoot the target straight across. You don't go back and forth like, hey, target 1. Nope, now target 2's up, I'll shoot. Okay, target 1's back up, I'll shoot that. It was like you go from target to target. You don't move off the target until you're done shooting it. You press the trigger straight back, and that's that. So somebody standing back might think, holy crap, these targets are all going crazy. But like, I don't know exactly how the timing is going to be. So I just I have a plan. Regardless of what happens, this is a plan I'm going to stick to.
Yeah. So the interesting thing there, is you have moving targets that are doing their thing, and as you're shooting it, it's like you're going to see a lot of things happening that you can't really address at that moment, and that is very strange for USPSA, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Very strange. So I guess the question for you, Joel, is how did you feel about that, and why would you say this is an important topic? Because I have a feeling you're going to say something very insightful right now.
Because I told myself, regardless of what happens, this is the plan. And so, yeah, like when I was shooting, it's like I'm shooting the first target. I'm like, oh, I could get to the second target. It's starting to come up. Maybe I should move the gun. It's like, no, I will wait for that target. When it comes back up, I will shoot it. I have a plan. And regardless of what feedback I see going on, where it's like, hey, maybe I could get to this target now. Maybe this would be, it's like, no, I have a plan. I'm sticking to the plan. I don't care what I see. Going into it, this is the plan. And if I stick to the plan, that will give me a reasonably good outcome.
Yeah, and that is a very important thing, is to have that discipline. There's another stage I'm thinking of is another good example is they weren't going to shoot them, and then they'd move, and then they'd get to those targets, and it was kind of like, what is your plan to shoot those things? And it is very helpful, just like you're talking about, to have a plan where you're like, no, I'm going to do this thing, irrespective of what I see when I get there. So in that case, there's a couple targets swinging, and it's like, what do you want to do? Are you going to go to those targets, and you'll see they're both kind of doing their thing, and you just kind of wing it? Well, that's not usually a good plan. You can get lucky and have that work out. Or you could say, hey, I'm going to get on one swinger, and I don't care how long it feels like it's taking. I'm going to shoot at that thing until I feel like I'm done with it. Then I'm going to go to the next one. Or am I going to do some other plan and try to time things? Like it's really interesting if you look at a stage and you're like, it's difficult to predict where exactly things are going to be at. And I need to have a plan that's going to keep me from fucking myself. That's usually the what people end up doing.
Well, and I think people also get lost or have an amount of panic also when it's not happening.
I straight up saw one guy on the bobber stage you're talking about. Mm-hmm. He whited out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I watched him do it. He shot one popper and activated a couple moving targets, and you could just tell immediately there was indecision. Like, he started doing things that he had not planned to do. I could just tell watching him. Like, he completely whited out.
And then maybe you go to slide lock, or you forget a target or something like that. It's just like...
Or you're not sure what you've engaged with how many rounds or whatever.
Yeah. When I shot that stage, I predetermined before I shot it, okay, in that array, it was 8 shots. So technically, 3 bobbers, you could have shot 3 on each target. So that was my thoughts. If I need makeup shot, I'm going to shoot at least the magazine capacity. I'm never going to go slide lock, reload, and then coming back to the target. Because at that point, even if you shoot another shot, there's no guarantee you're going to hit it. That's not like a survival stage. So survival stage, when I categorize survival stage, that's something that I can actually hit and call the shot. But the stage we were talking about was chaotic stage, where shots are not guaranteed to be on there. So there's like, even if I spend a lot of the time and shoot pretty slow, there's no guarantee I'm going to have all the shots. And I don't simply want to end up shooting like 10 seconds slower than otherwise other people would shoot. That kind of makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, safety is not a thing. You just got to shoot the plan that's still not guaranteed, but time has to be at least good on that case.
Yeah, or reasonable.
Reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, so the other stage that popped up in my head was a shaky bridge. And the reason I mentioned that is because it's very difficult to predict how your sights are going to look when you jump onto this like shaking platform thing, and you're kind of shooting by winging it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think it'd be very helpful to mentally rehearse, like, hey, this is what this is likely to look like, and this is how I'm going to handle it. Because usually people end up really over aiming in those situations. You're lucky enough to have a shaky bridge at your club, Joel.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Or maybe they shoot to a predetermined pace. I've seen that also, where they think like they have a cadence in their mind. It's like, no, you're bouncing all over the place. You just like, hey, you stay on the target. When you're done shooting it, you move to the next target. And maybe that happens a little bit quicker than you think, and maybe it's a little bit slower than you think. But the sights will tell you what the speed's going to be for that.
Yeah, but so how helpful is that mental rehearsal before you shoot a chaotic stage?
Dude, it was like I was not even worried about. Oh, at first I'm a little nervous, of course, during the make ready. But when it was happening, like I was not nervous at all, because I already knew, like, hey, there's gonna be 3 targets, 3 targets getting activated when I'm shooting, and it's like I'll just shoot them one at a time. Like that's that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think mental rehearsal before you shoot a stage like that is absolutely the key to overcoming the chaos. And it's usually going to become where it's usually going to be a plan where you're going to be very disciplined. And it's going to be step by step. I'm going to do this, then this, then this, and that's it. And you're going to force yourself to kind of stick to a plan like that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mr. Kim, you got anything to say about that or anything to add? Yes, tell me more.
Not that specific. I can do my my topic. It's also related to nationals. I shot.
Okay.
Yes. So I shot the nationals with you guys, but it wasn't my main division anymore. So since this year, it was 100% carry optics. So production match was actually my first match of the year too. That production. So I never shot a production this year and not much expectation. And I was there having a lot of fun, staying with friends and, smoking cigar and all that. So
Yes, you
one,
were.
yes, it was very good
I
time.
think, I think that was the most bad behavior we've gotten up to at a nationals ever.
I agree.
In terms of during the match, the amount of bad behavior, like it was out of control.
So, uh, but I've been shooting very seriously for a couple of years now. And I forgot when was the last time I actually shot for fun. So this was for me, it's my off season, it's not my division. So my mindset was to have fun. And I didn't focus as much or pressure myself as much. I tend to pressure myself a lot at, carry optics match or the division I really care about. So the whole match, I'm really focusing, and I really get hungry super fast. So I always have my ice pack with me with ton of food, like protein stuff, like luncheon meat and all that stuff. But that last national that I shot, I was noticing after day one, I'm like, hey, I have so much food left in my ice pack. That was very unusual. And I am noticing how I focus at the match, I was trying to have fun, was very different than the serious, my main division. So basically, what I was doing is when I am done shooting, I'm immediately just hanging out and just texting my wife or stuff like that. And then when the next stage walk through, and if I'm on the hole, I start super hyper focus, come back. So there was more of a rest time in between the stages for me. And that kind of, I think, didn't drain me as much, and I didn't need food as much, and I wasn't focusing like a marathon, but it was more like a sprint and rest, sprint and rest. And I think that really helped me in terms of managing my nutrition, and I was able to focus intensely at the last stage. But typically, if I shoot main division, after a couple stages, I feel like, oh, I'm getting a little bit tired, and so that's why I have to eat and put some nutrition in my body. And I think I'm going to experiment next year to actually make myself kind of rest after shooting is done. So I think that's something, if some people are very serious about their shooting and not talking to anybody until the match is over or just the whole day is over, I think I want to recommend actually trying different mindset and the focus and the pressure in yourself. Because a lot of people, when they pressure themselves too much, yes, you can drain yourself really fast and they can end up making more mistakes.
Well,
I like it.
yeah. You see, you're fucking spitting fire as always, Mr. Kim.
Yeah.
Professor Kim.
Yeah, that motherfucker. All right. I think we'll do more questions than normal just for funsies because I got a couple pretty interesting ones.
Okay.
2 questions from this one guy, what I thought were good questions. My wife and I have been shooting USPSA for about 2 years, and what we lack in experience and skill level, we make up for in enthusiasm. We recently shot our first level 2 match, and I have a question about the Chrono stage. Why do matches even bother? During our shooter's briefing, the match officials joked about making sure we turn in our good ammo for the Chrono stage. We bagged up samples of the actual ammo we were shooting. It was obvious that we could have bagged any load we wanted to make power factor. Was it just the level 2 match we attended, or is it like that everywhere?
Don't get me started on Chrono.
It is an interesting procedure. I personally kind of agree with what he's saying. Not that they shouldn't do Chrono, but I've always liked it where they're grabbing mags off your belt, kind of at random, and sending people over to the chronograph. At least trying to catch people. Like kind of like that.
A very good friend of mine. I don't think he'd mind me mentioning his name, Scott, who you'd know.
Yeah.
He was running a Chrono at a local section match. It was not his club, but it was out of state. He was working it. And yeah, you turn in your Chrono ammo at the beginning of the match, whatever, your special Chrono ammo. And then after you get done running a stage, you walk off that stage and you walk directly to the Chrono, which is like right there. And he's like, okay, give me an empty mag so I can do the, the gauge, all that crap. He's like, just save me the hassle. Just give me the front mag off your belt. I'll just use that for Chrono. It's like, oh, I like the way you think, which of course I had nothing to worry about. But that was, like you said, that's an interesting take on like getting around that where you could possibly have, different ammo you'd turn in. I would say Like,
I
it's
mean,
not worth the hassle, but I'm sure
I,
there could be people that would do that.
I think the way that chronos typically function is a bit strange. Like, I agree, there's plenty of holes in there for people to potentially cheat, but like, let's be honest, there's lots of places people could be cheating in the sport, could be doing some, some fuckery, as they say. There's places where people can do that, and what you have to do is if you catch people doing that, the organization should come down on them with a ton of bricks. Oh, haven't we?
I would normally say, tell me more, but I don't need to know more. So.
You don't need to hear anymore.
No.
In my experience, chrono stages, it's kind of like going through the motions, and like the gun check and all that stuff, and that's good. They catch people doing things they're not supposed to be doing, and then you hopefully get it corrected, so at the next match they're not going to have a problem. I would like it if they at least tried to catch people cheating a little bit more, but it's interesting to get kind of a new person's perspective on that, because the chrono is this thing where everybody just kind of goes through the motions, and what typically will happen is if the chrono is kind of reading in a way that everybody finds agreeable, nobody really complains. If the chrono is giving readings that are higher than people think it should, nobody really complains. And if the chronograph is reading low, typically a bunch of people are going to be going minor or sub-minor anyway, and there tends to be it tends to be like, yep, we're just going to go through the motions anyway and let
no action any of those. Yeah. And I think as far as gear, I think it mostly keeps like honest people honest. I'm sure there is exceptions, but what I see was like when people don't pass mag gauge, or like maybe they don't fit in the box, it's people that they're brand new to the sport, maybe this is the first level too, and they didn't know that. Maybe, I don't know the details, not every 140 millimeter advertised magazine's actually 140 millimeter, or maybe they have a safety or whatever, something on their gun. So I don't think people do that stuff intentionally. They probably just don't know any better, and maybe going to a chrono is the first time that they learn their gear isn't.
I mean, I will say at club matches, I think it'd be great. Just set up a chrono and just like run people through there. I have been on squads with people at club matches where I'm like, this dude's shooting major apparently, and it's like and I'm thinking like there is no probability that this person is shooting major ammo. Like, I've been doing this for far too long, and you're watching somebody's gun and you're like, that is absolutely not major, no way. And it's just like, well, it'd be nice to get people punished for that, but
In level 4 plus IPSC matches, there's a equipment check on the day, registration day. So actually, when I shot the workshop for the first time, a friend of mine from the US, he was using a holster that's legal for USPSA but not for IPSC, because how they measure from the distance between the belt and the gun is different. The spot is different. So he had a chance because he didn't shoot yet. So he had a chance to fix that spacer and then come back and check the equipment again and pass.
The way it's done in IPSC, I think, is far better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where, I mean, in equipment checks, so if you walk up to somebody's stage and they don't like the position of your magazine pouch, they're like, hey, could you move that pouch back for me? And you're like, okay. And then you don't go to open. You stay in like production or standard or whatever. That to me seems a lot better than the way it typically works at USPSA matches,
where it's too late to fix anything, so you're automatically bumped to open.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, that just seems sort of goofy. I mean, to me, the idea is like you want people to comply with the rules. You don't want to like you're not looking to take enforcement action. You're looking for compliance. Mm-hmm. I mean, and a lot of times if people aren't in compliance with an equipment rule, it's usually they just don't know what the rule is.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not confident with, like, for example, 140 mag not making it, the first time I shot 140 mag, I actually went to the match walkthrough day the day before. I went to the chrono and then told him, hey, can I actually check it? Because I want to find out right now. So if you are not confident with it, you just go the day before the match and tell them, hey, can I use the gauge? Stuff like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I would say a good chrono like staff would be more than happy to help you to identify if you're going to have any issues before you shoot your first stage.
Yes. And I think Ben Stego Pro Shop has the magazine gauge too, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We want people to comply with the rules.
Everyone should own one, right, Ben? Or maybe two. Do you have a backup?
You should just go on there and just buy shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. Hell, I mean, in my books too. Go get a few copies, in case you want to read it again, because you never know.
Yeah, or even they make good coasters if you need one. Like I had a coffee table that I didn't want to.
Fantastic coaster.
Yeah, I didn't want to spill anything on, so that works all right too.
I think they have good T-shirts too. I think.
Oh, the Run GMJP T-shirt, instant classic. A lot of people really like that.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, they do.
Yep.
Such great friends I have.
There's going to be some bullying if you want to be friends with Wanzik. I'll tell you that. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Second question. Would you guys please explain what calling your shots is and how it can benefit a shooter who's trying to get better? I'll give you guys my definition of calling a shot. You can go ahead and add to it if you want. So calling your shots, what people typically say is they see their sights lift or see their dot lift up off the target. That's a little bit, I would say that's a little bit narrow of a definition. So let's say calling your shots would be knowing what's happening as it's happening, meaning you understand where bullets are going as you're firing them, based on the sights, based on how things feel in your hands, and what you're seeing or where you think things are going lines up with reality. It's an extremely important tool, especially for an improvement, because if you understand where bullets are going, then you're going to figure out why they're going there pretty quickly, and then build more productive habits to train yourself more efficiently so you can put bullets where you want them to go as opposed to where they are going, if that makes sense. Anything to, I assume you have stuff to add to that, Mr. Kim, Professor.
Yeah, the definition, I really like your definition.
Yes.
There are a couple of places where calling the shot, people don't think they can call a shot. For example, the sight was misaligned. So I typically actually try this once in a while, actually shoot a purposefully misaligned sight at different distances. So for example, the front sight is completely outside of the rear notch up to the right top, let's say. And then I shoot different distances and see if that misalignment was still in the alpha zone or Charlie zone or delta zone. So being able to know where the shot went with the misalignment or with regular alignment is pretty important. And also calling the shot by physical sensation too. Like if you feel your flinch left low kind of thing, then you should be able to not like completely, it was like 2 inches lower, but general idea of where your shot went. So calling your shot is basically knowing where your shot went, no matter what circumstances.
I like it. Yeah, you guys hit it out of the park. Just to explain in a little bit greater detail what Ben was talking about with feeling. So I can think about, let's say I'm shooting a popper and it's at 15 or 20 yards. And when I feel like my firing hand, I feel it tensing up, or I feel like a little bit of pre-ignition push, or I'm pushing into the gun, I don't need to know where that, I don't need to go watch that bullet splash into the dirt somewhere, because I already know the second, the instant that gun fired, I knew I did something wrong that affected where it went. So yeah, I think the traditional, your eyes are open the whole time, you watch the front sight, wherever the front sight is when it lifts, that's where your bullet's going, which makes sense. But yes, the feeling you have, where you could tell maybe you're pressing the trigger sideways, or I feel my hands tense up, that tells you a lot.
Yeah, you just got to think expansively, like you're gathering information about what's happening. Like you're switched on. You understand where bullets are going, and that gets you a lot closer to the why they're going there. That's really the important thing. Let me see how we are for time, guys. So we might have to shut this hoe down, as Joel would say. Yep. All right. Well,
that
guys,
is not as I would say, actually, for the record.
You're always saying hose. You're dropping. Your language is offensive, sir.
All right. I'll try to clean up my act a bit. I apologize.
I'll be honest, Joel. You're a fucking square. You really are.
Well, I am a bit boring, but that's all right.
No, you're not boring. You're a square. It's a different thing.
Okay.
Squares aren't boring. They're just, they kind of color inside the lines, so to speak.
That's just me. I'm not a maverick. I'm not an outlaw, Ben.
No, that's what you got me for. All right. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to bensteger.com. Send me your question. If you'd like your free grip tape from the Pro Shop, you email shopping@benstegerproshop.com and say, we want our grip tape. We don't care. We want grip tape, especially in lighter colors. White and yellow, very difficult to laser cut that effectively because it's always singeing the edges. They got to redo it a bunch of times usually. It's awesome. Ask for your free white grip tape. That's what you want.
A special deal if you call the Pro Shop, like every third time you call, you get free grip tape or something?
I think that might be the deal every third time.